Hey everyone, welcome to the Beyond All Cloud series. And today we'll be talking about the chapter 5, that is Pursuit of Talent as if your success depends on it, which is basically about the initial team building or the initial group of people that are going to be there in your organization. Let's start with how did you approach or how did you start looking out for people who share your vision?
Well, I think I told you the story of Qasim, who was who was my lead engineer at Runa. He joined us as lead engineer at Runa, and then he quickly became indispensable, and rose to the ranks of principal engineer, and then VP engineering, and so on. But remained heavily on the technical side, extremely hands-on and stuff like that. So. I remember the first recruiting conversation was, having lunch with him in like San Ramon, which is like, in my opinion, like a really out of the way place to go, because it's not in the, it's far from the main strip. But I remember driving over there and having lunch. It was a late lunch, like 3 o'clock. No one else was in the restaurant, and I'm sitting there and drawing some stuff on my literally on a little napkin at that time, and it was such a simple diagram, that just shows the process flow and the data flow of what I wanted to, what I saw as the real truth about markets, and so he looks at it and he's like, hey, this is Lisp. So which is just a way of saying that it's a programming language construct which he saw in there as a first class abstraction, which is that if you can capture something in an abstraction which is supported by your tools, then it's really powerful stuff. And if not, then you build tools that can support those abstractions, right? So when your programming language itself can support some meta abstraction building, then you can really marry, technology and vision. And so Qasim, the first guy to say, yeah, man, this is amazing and let's do it, said so because he did probably, I would say, and most people did not realize the completeness or the complete impact of something like this, because it's hard to see the whole and how it, everything connects to everything else, unless you do. And but those that do can see it now, and even in that is sort of possibilities. They don't quite grasp the whole thing, but some do, of course. A lot of people do, but back then it wasn't the case. So I think he saw what he saw and was excited enough from a Runa 2.0 3.0 perspective, and then that's when he jumped on. And the same thing with Naveen and team, which is we brought on that whole group as co-founders. I mean, as a new company between Naveen's team and ours. And so Naveen himself came on to become a co-founder and so on, head of product. Back then, I think he also did not see the whole thing, possibilities. And I didn't actually talk about all of it too much because, people thought I was crazy already, So you just don't say things anymore, but you just show them some things,
Yeah.
And so that was back then when we designed, Awake Market Protocol, which is really the notion of, buyers and sellers and someone in the middle called the co-seller, and how that can be designed into a protocol which allows for true composability into anything and everything, which means anyone can buy anything anywhere, and anyone can co-sell and earn money on making such transactions from anybody, anything, any product or service, anywhere, in any currency. Yeah. So that kind of a model that requires strong product skills and engineering talent and so on. So we were very lucky to have that initial group. And then there was a little company that you might be familiar with. It was called Edulix, back in the day. which is how we brought you and Abhishek on, right? We tricked you into coming on board, actually, in a way.
It was an awakening. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it is a journey, right? And there is a
It's a journey.
destination. Yeah.
Definitely.
And then some folks from Quintype, I mean, my old company, right? Like folks that had been there from the very beginning, pretty much, jumped ship, I'd say, to really do what we had originally set out to do, quite honestly, with Quintype. But, they have yet to find their way there. But I think we are going to be able to help everybody now as we launch across multiple newspapers in India, as well as the US and other places. People that are using Quintype can finally, also get monetization through commerce and through, the creator economy and through communities engaging and all that stuff. So, I think that was the original team. Frankly, since then, we've got people who have come and gone. We've got people who've stayed, of course, right? Like at the business side and at the other extended family. Even people who've come into the company and have, left or whatever it is, we've parted ways. All of that has happened over the years, right? Over the last, what is it now? Over 3 years that we've been at building ShopType, Awake Market.
Well, it's a journey, I would say. I mean, like we have so many people from very different backgrounds, very different like sort of skill sets they come to, and as you mentioned, we have had our ups and downs. We have had people who are no longer associated, and people who have stayed with us since the beginning as well. What's your future? What's your future looks like in terms of getting more people, since we're expanding as well, getting more people in the organization? How do we approach that?
Yeah, I think as we continue to add new networks, we've got the opportunity to grow with our clients, right? And so I think, I should probably mention Manjul too, right? He joined us before anything ever started, right? Like he's been there for 5 years before, he's been with us since the first go around, since the first crash of the Bitcoin crash in 2017. Not that we were doing crypto as such, but we had to suffer that whole thing. So I think
he was there,
there's just such a
he was there.
Yeah, he was there. He was
since there was nothing. I mean, like from the zero, he was there.
Exactly. He's a believer. You need believers. You need people who are not mercenaries, but you need people who are missionaries. People who are here because they see an impact that we can leave on the world.
Definitely.
Everybody can do stuff. I mean, there are people who can do deals. I know I talk to people all the day. They're like, oh yeah, I'm doing deals, like connecting people who want steel, from some country. They're building a railway in Africa. They're just in there doing brokerage stuff, like co-selling in a way, right? But it's very haphazard. There's no legacy building. There is just, I can make a quick buck, right? And I can do it all day, and I can make a lot of money, and it's cool. And that's not cool. To me, it's boring as fuck, right? It's like, you got to build something for others. If it's just for yourself, it's just downright boring, right? It's dull. It's like everybody does that. What's the big deal? You're going to, okay, great, But if you're making money for other people, that's interesting.
Definitely.
Really helping others to make money and to really grow and to that's interesting. There's unlimited potential there, because you don't have one, trick that, oh, I make money for myself. That's fine. You should make money for yourself, but there's plenty of ways to do that, right? Even drug dealing is a way to make money for yourself. That doesn't mean that they're not smart. They need to be bloody smart to, to elude the cops and this and that. So it's not even about that. It's none of those things. It's really, what is it that you stand for? Do you stand for anything at all? It's as simple as that. What do you care about? Is it just television and whatever it is on TikTok or whatever? Is that what you stand for, or is there some meaning? that you can relate to, that's beyond your tiny self, that's
that
what the
makes
interest
the
is.
yeah, that's what the interest is, and that's where people also associate with similar people. I think there's a similar vibe or similar energy among people who look for a deeper impact, who work for like more than earning for themselves.
Yeah, money is going to come. There is no dearth of money when you create value at all, right? You have to
Yeah.
truly understand what it means, value. We don't have values in today's world, right? Values are not there. It's not a grand statement about morals. It's about the simple notional economy that we are living in. People are running behind, Lamborghinis and like fancy shit in the crypto world, for example. Like you would have seen all that nonsense,
Yeah.
right? Buying, like, even this FTX scandal exposed him. His parents were buying like hundreds of millions of dollars of vacation homes around the world. I mean, so that's where they lose sight of, not lose sight, maybe they always started with the idea of just making a buck. you know
Could be.
uh,
Yeah.
Not could be, these are smart people. It's not,
Yeah.
we don't
They're
insult their
not like,
intelligence. Yeah,
yeah,
they're very
they're
intelligent
not that.
people that know what they're doing. Let's put it that way, right? It's not, oh, I don't know, like, it's not that at all, right? It's very much clear what they're doing. Everybody knows. And so it's just a question of values. They don't have any values. It's just me, nothing new there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's boring as fuck, as I said before. I haven't said it, it's terribly tiring and boring, you know. The
Yeah.
world needs people to stand up and help. It's as simple as that. Others right now, we see the
Yeah.
crash coming. It's not like things are going good at all anywhere
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
coming 1 or 2 3 years. We're going to have to deal with this whole thing, and it's not going to just be a turn on a switch. It's got to be something you have been laying the foundations for, and are
Yeah.
ready to kind of scale, and are really kind of refining how everything is going to be done in this coming future. That's
Yes.
what we're building. We're building a new
Yeah.
world that works for everybody. It's as simple as that, right? And so blockchain is a tool there. Even most blockchain projects today are shit, total crap. So they don't add value. They're just trying to make a
Yeah.
buck for themselves,
Yeah.
simply saying blockchain. Like I would say database 25 years ago, right? Like I'm using
Yeah.
Oracle. Who
It's
gives a
yeah.
shit?
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Like,
very similar.
who
Yeah.
cares what's inside? You know?
It's just like, yeah, as you mentioned, it's very similar to using just a few buzzwords here and there, and then just making the same thing, just replicating the same thing which is there.
And if it's all that great, give it for free,
Yeah.
and make money on the upside together. Don't charge
Yeah.
people upfront. If there's value, then share the value, then share it upside. Shared upside,
Yeah.
right? Like that's called alignment.
Definitely.
Yeah. So these are all not complicated things. It's very simple, right? But don't want to do it. But that's not. But then that's not us. We are clear.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think that's very common. That's the one point that is common across everybody who's associated with Awake and with ShopType. This is what we are doing. This is what we stand for, and yeah, that's why we are here together. That's as straightforward as that.
Yeah, it's a community commerce, right? It is ultimately a DAO, a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. Ultimately, we haven't done that yet. It's still centralized. But, in 2023, 2024, I suspect, as we kind of, and I think sooner than later, I suspect, we will start to think about how this DAO organization will come together. And even if it's not ShopType, the technology platform, I think all of Awake's ventures and all of the opportunities we're dealing with, and people are coming to us and saying, help us do these things. I think all of those should be and can be and will be, many will be structured as DAOs, where people have collective ownership and collective governance and collective and ways to engage in the day-to-day business of the company.
Yeah.
So I think that's like what the future holds, and it's like No, we continue.
Good.
I'm sure I've missed out a lot of people that have. This is just how we started, right? This is like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
pretty much what we
Yeah.
talked about today. There's been lots
Yeah.
of people who've come and helped since then and are still helping. And so,
We
yeah,
are,
I mean,
we are,
it's
we are expanding. So there are so many people who have played so much critical roles, crucial sort of at crucial junctions, intersections, and things like that. We'll have another session on this.
yeah,
Definitely,
definitely.
there's so many people to talk about.
Yeah, and as you know, we love to pre-announce things, and we love to do new things and do more things than we can possibly handle all at once. And so, there's that new, initiative called the Book of Awake, which I think you will talk about at some point, where
Yes.
people will tell their stories about
Yeah.
Awake. And so that's a fun project. I love doing these types of fun projects because I think it's really conversational. And, whether anybody listens or not, it's nice to clarify one's own thoughts as,
Yes.
one speaks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's always a good thing to write stuff down and to talk about these things. Yeah, that's kind of the whole build in public thing, by the way.
I think we have aligned our theories or our foundations so much that it reflects everywhere. Either it's whether it's this podcast or the Book of Awake that's coming up or anything else for that matter. We are building everything in public.
Yeah, and we invite everybody to play with us in that play sandbox, shall we say.
Yes, right. Thanks, Amit. Thanks so much for an awesome conversation. I think it's really fun to talk about conversations, talk about people's perspectives as well. Let's get more people on board and start the Book of Awake.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.